you know, for me, and I always just apply it to my son, he has to be competitive in a very different world compared to the world that I needed to be competitive within at his age. You know, so if you even look at little kids today, it's so different.
Yeah.
And you know, there's OTs and there's speech therapists and there's and that's what it's common. It's not a crazy. I mean, we didn't have access to speech therapists and occupational therapists and there's nothing wrong with making sure your kid has a little bit of help and a little bit of support, because they need to be competitive in a very different world. So just by getting that qualification and that accreditation or whatever it is, it just allows you to be a little bit more competitive. Because, I mean, that's the reality. We need to compete.
Yeah. My friend Raylene, who's doing the youth work, she was saying that in the next 30 years, from some of the stats she was reading, South Africa, there will be more young people in Southern Africa than there will be in the Northern Hemisphere. And most of our export market will be the people we export into different environments. Gareth Cliff was talking on the radio this morning when I was driving here about where would you go to work and what would drive you to. But that's going to come out, and the reality of they're going to be competing with the international youth.
Yeah.
Because though they're a smaller number, they will have many advantages. And so her driver is the question of what are we developing in our young people that in 30 years' time,
absolutely,
they and their children will be highly exportable.
Exactly.
But also they will be able to compete equally.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
So it's no longer just competing with, you know, Joe next to
absolutely.
me.
It's being globally competitive.
It's kind of like, how do I impact this whole global market?
Sure.
But the access to learning is so much greater, which I'm loving. I have a 5-year-old niece who, with my iPhone, is just like, I show her once and then she gets irritated if I show her again. And that's, I got it 2 years ago, so for 3 years, when she was 3. And I'm just amazed at their connectivity, their ability to connect to things. And they call them the Generation Connect.
Yes.
As opposed to Generation Z or
X or,
you know. So, like the Y's entering the workplace now, but this generation, they are connected, and they will be connected to global networks.
Yeah.